Section 22, the ADRE Complaint and Investigation Process. A few weeks after reading about the disciplinary case, Sarah walked into David's office carrying a letter. "It isn't for me," she laughed, "but one of the agents in our office received a request from ADRE asking for transaction documents." She looked concerned. "What happens when someone files a complaint?" David motioned for her to sit down. "That's a question every Arizona licensee should understand." He explained that receiving a complaint doesn't automatically mean a licensee has violated the law. "The Arizona Department of Real Estate exists to protect the public," David said. "Part of that responsibility is investigating complaints to determine whether a violation of Arizona law or the commissioner's rules has occurred." He opened the Arizona Real Estate Law Book and pointed to ARS Section 32-2153. Explaining that the commissioner has the authority to investigate allegations involving Arizona real estate licensees and take disciplinary action when appropriate. "The investigation is designed to gather facts," David explained. "It isn't based on rumors or assumptions." Sarah asked, "Who can file a complaint?" David smiled. "Almost anyone. A buyer, a seller, another real estate licensee, a broker, a title company, an escrow officer, or even a member of the public who believes a licensee may have violated Arizona law. Imagine you're representing a buyer in Tucson. Several months after closing, the buyer discovers a disagreement regarding repair receipts that were supposed to be provided before closing. The buyer believes the documents were never delivered and files a complaint with ADRE. A few weeks later, you receive a letter requesting your transaction file. Here's where experienced realtors have an advantage. David explained that one of the first things ADRE often requests is documentation. Purchase contracts, addenda, disclosures, emails, text messages, inspection responses, repair invoices, transaction notes. The investigation focuses on what can be verified, not what someone remembers months later. "This is why complete transaction files are so important," David explained. "If you documented the transaction properly, the file usually tells the story." He also reminded Sarah that AAC R4-28-1103 requires Arizona brokers to exercise reasonable supervision over the activities of their affiliated licensees. One reason broker supervision is so important is to help ensure transaction files are complete before problems arise. Sarah asked another question. "What if ADRE contacts me directly?" David answered without hesitation. "Respond promptly. Ignoring the department never improves the situation." He explained that licensees should cooperate professionally, provide requested documentation, notify their employing broker, and respond honestly to any questions during the investigation. Trying to alter documents, delete emails, or create records after receiving notice of an investigation only creates much larger problems. David shared a real-world example. An agent received an ADRE request for documents involving a transaction that had closed nearly 2 years earlier. Fortunately, the brokerage maintained complete electronic records, including emails, disclosures, inspection reports, and signed addenda. Within a short period of time, the documentation demonstrated that the licensee had properly disclosed the issues and followed Arizona law. The complaint was dismissed. "The file protected the licensee," David said. "It wasn't luck, it was preparation." Experienced brokers often remind their agents that every transaction file may someday be reviewed by someone who knows nothing about the transaction. If another broker, an attorney, an ADRE investigator, or even a judge reviewed the file, would they understand exactly what happened? That's the standard professionals should strive to meet. Most investigations don't begin because licensees intended to violate the law. They begin because documentation is incomplete, communication breaks down, or consumers feel they weren't treated fairly. Professional communication, thorough documentation, and broker involvement remain the best defense against complaints and one of the strongest ways to protect both consumers and your real estate license. In the next section, we'll examine how effective broker supervision and risk management practices help prevent complaints before they ever reach the Arizona Department of Real Estate. Online discussion. 1. Why does ADRE request transaction documents during many investigations? Answer. Transaction documents provide an objective record of what occurred during the transaction. Contracts, disclosures, emails, text messages, and inspection reports often help investigators determine whether the licensee complied with Arizona law and fulfilled their professional responsibilities. 2. Imagine you receive a letter from ADRE requesting information about a transaction that closed over a year ago. What steps should you take? Answer. I would immediately notify my employing broker, carefully review my transaction file, Gather the requested documents and respond promptly and honestly to ADRE's request. Maintaining complete records makes this process much easier and helps demonstrate compliance with Arizona law. 3. Why is documentation often considered a licensee's best defense during an investigation? Documentation provides evidence of the actions taken during a transaction. Signed disclosures, contracts, emails, inspection reports, and written communications help establish the facts and reduce reliance on memory. Complete files often resolve questions quickly and protect both consumers and licensees.